The U.S. Supreme Court, the president has notched a win a moment ago. The U.S. Supreme Court has allowed the Trump administration to revoke the temporary legal status for hundreds of thousands of immigrants.
Now, the Trump administration argued you can't individually determine with 500,000 people in any sort of specific amount of time. It needs to be done faster. It needs to be done as a block.
But look, when you have these kinds of lazy assumptions built into questions, it makes it hard to have a constructive dialogue.
What is a lazy assumption? I said you all had to win.
You said no. You said is it my expectation?
I'm speaking
you
because
said,
now you're putting.
You said is it my expectation? It is not the job of a district court judge to perform an individual green light or red light on every single policy that the president takes as the head of the executive branch.
What's going on, guys? We gotta talk about based Stephen Miller absolutely roasting. I'm talking filet mignon cooking this CNN propagandist, and for whatever reason this lady is like trying to argue and debate him on what she's implying. She basically makes a stupid implication that, well, who's gonna check the power of the president? And Stephen Miller's like, what do you mean is the executive branch? He's an equal branch to the judicial branch. And she's like, well, I'm not saying this, that, and third. It's like, well, what the hell are you saying then? You are saying something, asking stupid loaded questions. These people act like they never heard of loaded questions, political slants, leanings. They try to act so dumb, and they think people are falling for it. Maybe a few people out there are, but there's less and less dodo brains as it relates to the fake news every single day. That's why they got cooked in the election, but these people want to try it anyway. But no. Doesn't work with Stephen Miller. Without further ado, let's react to this.
I want to go to what is a big win today for the administration from the Supreme Court. I mean, it handed you all a win on ending deportation protections for a certain group of migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. So you have these wins. I think it was the second one on this particular issue just in the last few weeks. Yet, even just yesterday we saw, whenever a judge rules against this administration, you say they're going rogue. Do you think a judge should just rubber stamp what your White House does? If not, what checks and balances do you think should be in place for this White House?
It is not the job of a district court judge to perform an individual green light or red light on every single policy that the president takes as the head of the executive branch. Just think about the premise baked into your question, respectfully, Pam. You're saying that when the American people elect a president of the United States of America,
I'm not saying
well, it's the implication.
Who is the sole head? You're not saying what? He didn't finish his statement. So what are you saying, Pam? Like what is this?
The executive branch. Well, let me finish. I will answer the question happily. But look, when you have these kinds of lazy assumptions built into questions, it makes it hard to have a constructive dialogue.
What is a lazy assumption? I said you all had to win.
You said no. You said is it my expectation?
I'm speaking
because you said is it my expectation? It's not just you. It's the whole media. In other words, when you hear a sentence like,
it is a completely fair question. You say judges who rule against the White House go rogue.
And I will gladly answer it. When you say, do we think district court judges should rubber stamp each action? There is a premise that is built into that is absurd. The president is the sole head of the executive branch. He's the only officer in the entire government that's elected by the entire American people. Democracy cannot function. In fact, democracy does not exist at all if each action the president takes, foreign policy, diplomatic, military, national security, has to be individually approved by 700 district court judges. That's democracy. So if there's 15 communist crazy judges on the court, that each of them as a team working together can block and freeze each and every executive action. Joe Biden was allowed by that same court system
Some of them
to
are
import
Trump judges,
20 million
though.
illegal foreigners.
Why did Trump put these crazy
Why do people keep saying this as if it makes a difference? Well, it doesn't matter why Trump appointed a judge, or anybody could change their mind about something. They could have went from liking him to not liking him. We don't know what the story is. They could have been an operative and undercover the whole time, just so that they could get appointed and to destroy his agenda. Like some of these people switching from the Democrat Party, saying, "Oh, I'm a Democrat politician," but then they switch suddenly to being Republican. I mean, you never know who you can trust. Why does that even matter? They can still go rogue. Nobody said only Democrat judges go rogue. They're calling them activist judges. And for the record, are the majority of them Democrat judges. Absolutely. So just because there's a few rogue Republican or more conservative leaning judges doesn't mean that they're not primarily Democrat or that the point is any different.
Communist judges, as you call them, on the bench.
You heard President Trump himself say that the Federalist Society and Leonard Leo has created a broken system for judicial vetting. And God knows
He
this
did say
time
that.
around, we
So
are
does
not
that mean
going
he
to be
doesn't
using.
support
We are
picking
not
Amy
going to
Coney
be
Barrett
using.
for the Supreme Court?
What it means is simply this and nothing more. We're not
Girl,
going to be using
wait a minute.
the Federal
Can you
Society.
let Stephen Miller answer one freaking question at a goddamn time? Like, everything is negatively slanted with these people. There's no positivity with these people. That's what's crazy, unless you're a Democrat, of course.
To make judicial nominations at all going forward. But let me tell you about these rogue judges. This is the most litigated issue over the last 10 years. Over the last 10 years, whether or not to deport the foreigners who invaded our country illegally. That is the most litigated issue. You want a democracy in this country? When Americans vote, when they cry out and they beg for a president to come and save them from this invasion, and some district court judge in San Francisco or Manhattan or Los Angeles tries to shut it down and shield these foreigners from deportation, while the courts did nothing to stop Joe Biden and his administration and his officers, the Mayorkas, from overseeing this invasion. And of course, we celebrate the fact the Supreme Court stepped in
and actually went with the Trump administration, the previous one with Biden. But
nobody stopped Joe Biden from flooding this country with foreign invaders. And I will say to you,
so let me follow up with that,
and we celebrate the fact that 500,000 of those can now be deported because the Supreme Court justly stepped in and stopped these crazy lower court injunctions. Congress has reserved to the president by law the authority to conduct immigration enforcement, and they strip the district courts of jurisdiction.
Undocumented migrant sent a letter threatening to kill the president, promising to self-deport after the assassination. CNN reporting shows that investigators believe the migrant was set up. It was a victim of a setup. What is the administration going to do now? And this is an undocumented immigrant. I do want to note that, but this was someone who came forward, was a victim of a crime, and now law enforcement believes he was set up. Go ahead.
Well, I want to clarify what you mean, so we're talking about the same thing. Are you saying this immigrant was here illegally?
Yes, but I am, and that's why I said that. I clarified that.
You said undocumented, and I wasn't clear what that means. I'm assuming they have a fake ID. I'm assuming they have a fake social security number.
That's neither here nor there.
That's
getting away from the question, Stephen. I want this to be, and call me naive, a good faith discussion about what's happening right now.
But when we use language that's designed to obscure the truth, that's not good faith.
All right,
an illegal alien is an illegal alien. They're not an undocumented migrant.
Okay, that's fine. That's another discussion for another day.
I don't know.
So just so you guys know, that's an official term that they use in the government, is illegal alien. Undocumented is like something new, and maybe you could argue that they're using that term now, but it's always been illegal alien, and that is still more prominent pretty much everywhere, including in documents and paperwork saying that somebody is an illegal alien locally, statewide, federally. It's literally everywhere. So when they try to purposefully not say illegal alien, they're literally using verbiage that is not the correct verbiage according to the government.
Okay, that's fine. That's another discussion for another day.
I don't know the details of the assassination threat. All I can say, based on what you're telling me, is there's an illegal alien in our country who's making menacing threats. Regardless of the facts or circumstances, we don't want him here. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and I would gladly come back on when I have more information to share with you.
They were set up, just to be clear. But quickly, where is the White House on habeas corpus?
The illegal alien was treated unfairly. Yes, I'm sure the illegal alien was treated very unfairly.
I thought they said that they believed that they were set up. Now she's saying it as if it's some sort of confirmation. Guys, what a freaking joke. What a propagandist. Everything is basically from a leftist land. That's one of the reasons I don't respect these people, guys. And I know people, unfortunately, like this in real life who come at everything with an extreme leftist slant. The slant is off the charts. You can't even see where they're coming from hardly. The slant is so freaking ridiculous, and they try to pretend desperately as though they're some sort of neutral party. And I'm like, guys, you're not fooling anybody. Don't try to play me. for stupid, because all it's going to do is piss me off, and I'm going to lose all respect that I have, and we're not really going to have a conversation. We're going to have a discussion with me calling you out for being fraudulent, and that's exactly what this lady is doing here, is being a fraud and a propagandist. And to think you could try this on Stephen Miller is just wild to me. That's more than just a propagandist. That's just stupid. But guys, let me know what you think. Do you think we should give some sympathy to the illegal migrant for being set up, or you think we should just go ahead and deport him and call it a day? I mean, in my opinion, that's fine. That should happen regardless of if this person is set up or not. Who the hell cares? She wants to focus on, well, they were set up. What are you going to do about it? I don't care if people are out here trying to frame illegal aliens. Like, I could give a rat's you know what behind. Go home. It's like, imagine you go to somebody's home and you refuse to leave and bad stuff starts happening to you. Well, go back to your freaking house. Like, are you guys freaking kidding me with this? Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Now, of course, they're all subject to deportation from the United States. And of course, self-evidently, of course, they have to be deported. You can't have a situation where the Biden administration can fly in 500,000 illegal aliens in the last 24 months, and we're having a conversation about, oh, maybe they should get to stay for life. They've been here for 24 months. They were flown into our country illegally. And the good news is the airplanes travel in 2 directions.